Hi and welcome. My name's Johnny Fragan. I'm from All Total Coaching. What I want to talk to you today is why we live in a throwaway society and what are the consequences of a throwaway society. But before we start, I'd like to mention a book like I mentioned many times before, How to Be a Man, What Your Father Never Taught You. So what is this book all about? It's a clear guide for men in this feminized society, especially for young men under the age of 35, and for anybody, for that matter, that grew up without a father figure, without a mentor, or without a brother to put him on the right path. So what do we talk about in this book? We talk about what is a man, how to be a man, women, relationships and sex, the media, manipulation and indoctrination by the movies, health, food and exercise and why it's so important. Money, wealth, what you need to know, what you've never ever been taught about in school about money. Value, what is value and why it's so important. How to overcome the biggest phenomena in our generation of suicide and depression, where people, 8 people commit suicide a day in Australia, 6 of them are men. Happiness and fulfillment, feminism, the real truth, family court and consequences, domestic violence, how to be social and have a great network, and keep up, and how to maintain your relationships. And at the end, I give summary of the rules that will save your life and sources of the resources. So today, we're going to talk about why we live in a throwaway society and the consequences. Today, because of apps, everything is instant. Instant Tinder, instant this, instant this. And we live in a throwaway society where every time somebody doesn't have a problem with their relationship, instead of fixing her or him or coming to some consensus, they just dump her or dump him and all that. So what does that have? What does that cause? It causes massive depression. We as human beings need stability, emotional stability. And you may gain certain excitements by that man or that woman on a short-term basis. Yes, you may. More than likely you are, if not you won't dump him or her. But we have a massive need for stability, emotional stability. And when you do not have that, especially when you're going to get over the age of 35, most people were going to get into massive depression. And then they're going to go to the doctor, and a lot of people in Australia, and anybody that knows me knows that a lot of people are on antidepressant and bipolar, etc., and they go from massive mood swings on euphoria and depression. I know many people over the age of 40 that are in this category. Some of them may watch this channel, some of them may not, but they know exactly what I'm talking about. This is nothing against anybody in particular. This is a general overview, and if you take this personally, that's your problem, not my problem. But the throwaway society is created by mass media to control the masses. And I talk in my book extensively on this issue, because the more division you create by people, the more it's easier to control people. Governments know through our generations, when people are united, they can bring down governments, tyranny, they can bring up lots of things. But the more you divide the people, the more you put them against together, the easier it is to control the people. And this throwaway society that we live in, especially when it comes to relationships, especially when it comes to harmony, where everybody is focused on the individualism rather than a collectiveness. Now, the individualism may get you more money, more status in the short term, but in the long term, to sustain a healthy life, to sustain a happy environment in your own mind, because at the end of the day, it's your own mind, we need relationships, we need stability, emotional stability. And by creating a division, and by focusing on the individualism that the West has created, rather than collectiveness of us, depression is on the rise, and this throwaway society creates more depression and makes more money for the pharmaceutical companies. I'm warning you today, And those that listen, that's fine. Those don't listen will come into this category. You may think this doesn't apply to you, and that's fine. Maybe because you're 22. But it will apply to you sooner or later when you go from one relationship breakdown to the next, to the next, to the next. Because more than likely you're going to blame him or her, but you never look at yourself how you contributed to these issues of the breakdown of your relationships. And when you blame everything and everybody on your misfortune, you will never look in the mirror and say, how did I contribute to demise or this demise of this relationship? Because if you don't fix those patterns, you will more than likely repeat the same mistakes again and again and again. And then you're going to say something on the lines of, why do all these problems happen to me? Simple, because you're a moron. And problems will occur again and again and again if you don't do the most important first thing that you need to do. Look in the mirror, be accountable, be responsible, and say, how can I change? I urge you today to look in the mirror and say to yourself, how can I make myself better? I'm not saying that everything you do is your fault, but we all contribute to some of the things that go wrong in our lives. Including me, by the way. I'm not exception to this rule. I'm not pointing a finger at you or him or her for that matter. I used to be a fat slob, and a friend of mine told me, anybody who follows me knows that I was a fat slob. And I took what he said, I looked in the mirror, I burst into tears, and I started running and exercising. I've taken on board many things that people told me. My book that I was supposed to have a launch very soon, I found many small little grammar errors. And I listened to my editor, I listened to close friends of mine, and thank you very much for that, so I can fix those errors, so I can give you the best product possible, so you can learn and be a better man, a better person. So please, wake up and understand that this society we live in is a throwaway society, and don't be like the masses that get involved in it. Think about the collective rather than individualism. And if not, depression and suicide thoughts will descend on you like you've never believed. I know you think this is funny, and it's not. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, but I'm just telling you the truth. This throwaway society is going to cause a lot of people to die, a lot of people to be depressed, and have a really bad and unfruitful life. The truth is the truth. It's your choice. You can hear it, deny it, ignore it, or think I'm an idiot. But the real truth is, most people, they don't believe what I just said, already clicked off, because they think they know everything. And we all know a few people like that. Thank you very much for listening to me. Look us up at www.alltotalcoaching.com. We are working on the grammar errors that we found. We are working on some structures that need to be changed. A book launch will come. And this is my promise to you, to every one of you. This book will blow you away. It will tell you the truth, what you need to know. Especially for young men under the age of 35. Or any man for that matter that grew up without a father, that grew up in a feminized household, or grew up without a mentor that will help him, guide him in the right direction. I can change your life. The question is, do you want to? Or are you going to keep doing the same thing again and again and again, expecting a different result? It's your life. It's your call. What are you going to do about it? Thank you very much. You can contact me at john@sosdating.com. Thank you very much. As always, you know who I am? I'm your friend, Johnny.